What's up, everyone? This is Christian Duke. You're watching Strengthetics here on Instagram Live, brought to you courtesy of BlackstoneLabs.com, the holy grail of bodybuilding supplements. As I say every single time I go on air, if you are looking to get involved in the fitness industry, there is no better place to do so than by applying to join the Blackstone Labs Legion. Do so today. Also, big thank you to our supporting sponsor, TitanMedicalCenter.com, for all your TRT hormonal needs, your injectable vitamins. I mean, they've got it all. And don't forget the new ECA Plus stack that's taking over the fitness industry by storm. So I want to remind you guys that right now we got Carol Turco who's joining us. She's got an amazing story, hails from Brazil, been in the Legion forever, bikini competitor, coach and trainer, and so much more. And then at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, or going backwards to 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, we have Kim Fit Ass Haynes joining us. So be sure that after the Carol Turco interview that you don't go too far away, because we got Kim Fit Ass Haynes at 7 Eastern Standard for Pacific Time. And then tomorrow we've got NPC figure competitor Ashley Nicole at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All brought to you courtesy of BlackstoneLabs.com and TitanMedicalCenter.com. So be sure to not miss any of those great interviews. And also, I want to thank everybody that's come out. And of course, I want to thank my guests. I want to thank Carol and I want to thank Kim because they take time out of their busy days to do these interviews. And so I really appreciate it. Also, all my guests. I had the Palestinian beer yesterday and some great interviews. Also, we had Jody Engel a couple days ago. All right, guys. So I'm going to bring Carol on and we're going to chat because we have a lot to talk about. And we're going to talk about even more than fitness. Stay tuned. What's up?
Hey Chris, how are you?
I'm good. I got to be careful because when I was doing this interview the other day, the phone fell on me. So my setup, Carol, is I've got a dust, another dust, and a Trojan horse. So I'm set. That's my
Oh,
setup.
all right. Can you hear me well?
Perfectly. What happened to your arm?
I broke about two weeks ago on
How did that
uh
happen?
on a trip to Bahamas. It's very funny actually. I went to the Bahamas with some friends and some of them were in the boat and I was in the ocean and I asked them to throw me a drink. And I never drink, so I never, I'm never exposed to anything. So I didn't realize that the can of beer was gonna float. So I tried to catch it like a football player,
Mm.
and there you go. I broke my pinky in three places, so it had to be, I have to be on a cast now for 3 more weeks.
That's pretty hardcore. You said it's funny. I mean, that's pretty hardcore. I would not describe that as funny, but that's pretty hardcore. So, um, you've been around the Blackstone Labs Legion for a while, and
Yes.
you're someone that's very visible, and that's like the perfect member of the Legion, someone that's visible, that shows a lot of support, that's active. And so, before we talk about the Legion, though, and you're a competitor, you're a trainer, you're a coach, you got a lot of things going on. But let's go back to Brazil. So you're originally from Brazil. Tell us what city in Brazil, what was it like living there, and then obviously coming over.
Well, I've been into the United States for 17 years. I came here when I was 20 years old, and I came by myself. I had nobody. I just decided, I say, hey, this is not for me. It was boring at the time. And I decided to come, and the transition was pretty hard in the beginning for the first 3 months, but then after that, I just didn't want to go back to Brazil at all. I fell in love with the United States, and here I am.
And where in the United States do you live?
I live in Boca.
Boca, awesome. Now, if any of you guys ever go to downtown Miami, there's a humongous Brazilian contingent in downtown. There's stores and there's like soccer murals because, as you guys know, Brazil is pretty good in soccer. I mean, like really
Yeah,
good in soccer. And so there's a humongous Brazilian community in the United States. What city were you from in Brazil?
Curitiba is south of Brazil.
Nice, nice. So with the language, how soon like was it difficult because, you know, um, so Romance languages like for example, if Carol was to learn Spanish or French or Italian, it would be easy because Portuguese is a Latin tongue, but
Correct.
Portuguese to English, that's not that easy. Like, did it take a long time to learn it? Because your English is great.
Well, I learned English in school, of course, back in Brazil, but when I came here, it was a total different monster, you know. But because I was by myself, and I remember I had $1,000 and that was it on my pocket. And I went straight to California in San Diego, which I lived for 2 years over there. And I had no choice but to learn English pretty fast because I had to work, you know, I had to eat and do things. And what I did, I surrounded myself with, you know, like American people, and I didn't stay with Brazilians at all. And I'll go to every party that I was invited, even if I didn't understand anything, you know, because I could grasp the concept. So that's how I did it. I believe in about 3 months I was, you know, I was like a broken English, but 6 months I was fluent.
You know, it's so interesting that you say that because you know my father's Cuban and my mother's from Chile, and you know in South Florida, you know not so much Boca, but further down south. I'm talking more like Hialeah, Miami, Westchester, places like that. You have Spanish communities and they stay very insulated, and so there isn't really that motivation to learn English. There isn't that incentive to learn English. Hialeah, you don't need to learn English. You really don't.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so I think it was really smart of you to immerse yourself in American, more so even more than American English speaking culture, because you picked it up so much faster. You didn't have a choice. You know, you either
Yeah.
don't learn or you don't understand. So I think that was really smart, actually. And yeah, so I think that's definitely helped. And my gosh, you went. So you've lived in two expensive cities. You went you went from Brazil to San Diego, which is extremely expensive,
It
and then
is.
Boca. My gosh, Boca's like that's like lifestyles of the rich and famous. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it's
Um,
pretty expensive here.
but I love Boca though. Boca's really nice, really nice. The whole area, Del Rey's nice, Palm Beach. I mean, the whole area is there, but Boca's really, really nice. So what did you find first? Was it the coaching and the training, or did you start competing first and then go to the coaching, or how did all that happen?
Competing first. So
Okay.
I competed last year in July. It was my first and only competition. I didn't compete after that. And for a couple of months after that, about around October, I said, you know, I really love this. I love bodybuilding. I love helping people. And I think I should, you know, take a course and do become a personal trainer, a coach, and learn more about nutrition. I did go to nursing school here, which I didn't finish. I left on my last year, so I have a very good background in anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and all, you know, and so forth. So it was a great fit for me. You know, I was getting DMs and messages all the time asking what do I, Tara, what do I eat? Can you help me? And I say, you know, why not make money? You know, like I was just answering questions for free all the time.
Right. So you left nursing to pursue coaching and prepping people.
Yes,
The reason I was grinning, and hopefully PJ watches this, is because your story is almost that of I don't know if you know Dave Palumbo from RX Muscle,
yes,
but Dave Palumbo actually left medical school his third year. Nobody leaves medical school their third year. That's like leaving law school. I'm a lawyer. It's like leaving law school your third year. Nobody does that. But he left med school because he wanted to be a bodybuilder and he wanted to coach people and he loved nutrition and it's interesting how you left nursing for fitness, but you got to do what you love. I mean, you really only live once that we know of for sure. So
yes,
you definitely have to like do what makes you happy, you know. And if you can make money at it, even better, because people will, they'll get the very end of juice that they can and not pay anything, and you can't, you can't. Plus, in this industry, if you're a good coach and you don't charge, it's like you actually hurt yourself. You know, you want to charge, people want to pay, like they want to pay, and they want to pay top dollar if you're really good. So, with regards to the Legion, how did you discover Blackstone Labs? I feel like we're going all over the place, but it's
it's all
okay.
right.
It's okay. Yeah, because structure is overrated. So, um, how did you discover the Blackstone Labs Legion, Blackstone Labs, PJ, the whole Braun orbit? How did you come across?
Well, I know about Blackstone Labs since 2015. I used to go to Busybody East,
Hmm.
and by that time, PJ still had that the supplement store next to the gym. So I
Okay.
used to go there and buy their ice cream, the protein ice cream.
Yeah.
And I remember PJ from then, but I joined the Legion on 2019, and I went to meet PJ at the headquarters. It was pretty close to my house. It was about 10 minutes. And, he, of course, he always does it for everybody, but he hooked me up with a bunch of clothes, and we're just, we're talking. And that's when I decided to be to become a part of the Legion, and definitely opened a lot of, like, so many doors for me. Like, I wouldn't be able to be doing what I'm doing now if it wasn't for Blackstone Labs, for all the people that I met. The network is great. Everybody's so helpful. And I mean, I only have great things to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody that I talk to, honestly, and it's not because they sponsor. I mean, I've been like tight with PJ for a while, and it's just really a real family vibe. It really is. Jared Brown, the man, knows everybody by name. PJ told me, he was like, Jared knows like literally every Legion member by name. I'm like, come on, man. There's like so many Legion. There's like at least a few hundred. And he does. He does. He knows every. It's amazing. It's like Rain Man or something. It's like a genius.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the family vibe, I think people really like that. And what I really like is the fact that people count on each other. Like I was sick. Like it was weird. Like there was some kind of a weird stomach bug that was going on at Blackstone Labs. I think PJ got sick, and I think Derek got sick, and like a bunch of people got sick. And so it's weird because I mean I don't go to the office, but I got sick like last week. It was just weird. It's just how that all happened. And I had Todrick ask me how I was doing. I think Kim Fit Asked how I was doing. Like a bunch of people, like what do they care? Like you would think like what do they care? Like how I feel? Like I'm just a cold, but it's those little things that really matter. Like they really really matter. They really feel like a family.
Exactly.
So between the Legion and competing, we haven't talked about competing. We did talk a little bit about it, but so you're a bikini competitor. How did you like? How did you find the division? Because Brazil right now is really hot with wellness. You know what I mean? But not everybody's cut out to be wellness. Not everybody's cut out to be bikini. So was bikini? Did you always know bikini was the division for you?
No, I had no idea. Coming from Brazil, I always wanted to be wellness, you know, but unfortunately, you don't choose the division chooses you.
Very
So
true.
my body type was built for bikini, and although, like, when I competed, I had judges coming to me and saying, you're too conditioned, you have to they train your legs, and I wasn't about to do that. I didn't want to get smaller because I was very thin for my competition. I was about 119 pounds. Now I'm 140,
How
and I
tall
was
are you?
uh,
How tall are
I'm
you?
5'7".
Okay. Yeah.
So it was very like, I didn't fall in love
Hmm.
with the division. I loved the competition. I loved being out there and having the opportunity more so to overcome myself and my fears. I had a pretty tough um, growing up, with sex abuse and things like that. And I came from a abusive marriage. So showing my body and being who in front of everybody in a bikini, and it was something that I wanted to do, and it was very very important for me. And after the competition, and I told PJ about it, I was really just able to close that page and say, like, now I'm free. I'm myself, the woman that I wanted to be.
You know, like first of all, thank you for sharing that because that's incredibly powerful and that it's very personal to be able to share that. Um, But I like a lot of times I always like I reflect on, you know, the personal victories that people have through competition and through preparation and through gaining the look that they want. And I always tell people, I was like, you know, when I would do my interviews, I would do contest coverage. Right now, I don't do contest coverage. But it's a long story. But you know, I always gravitated towards people that had a story more so than people that maybe won the show. Sometimes they won the show too, but I didn't care about that. Like
Hmm.
the personal victory that you shared is a million times more than a trophy or even than a
Yeah.
pro card, if you really think about it, you know? So I think that's really powerful. I really do. I can't thank you enough for sharing that. And without, you know, without sounding melodramatic, because I'm not trying to, by you sharing that, I think that may inspire a lot of women, because a lot of women go through hell and back and nobody ever knows about it, especially in our culture. In
Yes.
Brazil and Latin America, especially, women don't talk about this sort of thing, and they're not encouraged. And a lot of times they get there's repercussions for talking like that.
Yes, and I always held back on that, you know, but it's something that we all have a past, you know. I guess like how I say, it's like everybody has a closet, you know, and we all been through some hardships, and when you can overcome that, you know, we have a trauma, and as adults, I think um, it's our obligation to you know overcome that, and it's our past, and for women, they don't want to talk about it because they feel that they are wrong. You know, for a long time, I felt like, you know, I'm the wrong person here because you feel dirty, but you know it's not our fault, and I think that you know women should be able to um, be free and show their body if they wanted to, you know, without any repercussions.
Absolutely. And I hope, I really hope that you're able to talk about this on a larger forum too. I love doing these interviews, but I'm going to see about that. If you know, we'll talk about it off air, like we'll see, because I feel that, you know, there's a lot of platforms in the fitness industry. There's a lot of female run platforms as well. You know, PJ's podcasts are also humongous, that the listenership is just like super vast.
Hmm.
And I think you could really, you know, I think you could really like help a lot of people. Just because I think we've just really just, you know, scraped, you know, just the surface, like the tip of the iceberg, as they say. I think
Yes.
there's so much more that can be said here. Um, Going back a little bit to what you said a little bit earlier, though, with regards to wellness, just something I want to say real quick on that is right now wellness is huge and everybody wants to do wellness. But I think when everything sort of settles, wellness will always be very popular. But bikini is an incredibly hot division and people love bikini. And before wellness, bikini was what dominated everything. So I think once the whole newness of wellness kind of like, you know, gets normal, I think bikini is going to be just as big as wellness is,
Oh
and
yes,
probably
for
bigger.
sure.
Yeah. It's just that right now wellness is so hot. Everybody, and it's like, it's crazy because I run the wellness competitors page on Instagram and it's growing. And it's a lot of bikini girls that are tagging it and they're not wellness. They want to be. So I think once it
Hmm.
all settles down, we'll see that bikini and wellness will probably be the two biggest women's divisions without a doubt. But bikini will definitely hold its own without a doubt.
Yeah, the big difference now is that like bikini to me it's like say, oh, they have to be so small, you know, and for wellness you really have to have a muscle maturity, you know, and have muscle density and time of training. You know, you can't just become a wellness like in 2 years of training. It's impossible. You
Yeah.
know, my coach's wife, she's an IFBB pro in wellness, and she's been training for 10 years, you know, to be who she is now.
Right. And I can see where that could be like potentially on the coaching and training side. I could see where that could be a scam, you know, moving forward, where, you know, a not so honest coach could tell, you know, a naive bikini competitor, hey, I can make you a wellness competitor in 6 months. Well, you can't.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You can't. Um, let's talk a little bit about Jared, my man, Blackstone Labs Legion page in the house. It always makes me happy. I always get happy. Um, let's talk a little bit about ADHD, because I know that that's something that you also want to talk about, and I definitely want to talk about that because I'm 42 years old. When I was a kid, there was very very little bit known about learning disabilities, and so again, kids were more or less told, look, you just got to study harder. You just got to try harder. It's your fault. And it's like now a lot more is known, and that way of thinking is pretty warped.
Yes. Well, I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was 30 years old. Um, and I always, like, on the back of my head, I knew I had something, something was different because I had to try harder than everybody else. If I had to read a chapter for school, it would be, I'll have to read it for, three times instead of, like everybody reads one and that's it. I had to do, different than everybody else. And it's hard for, like, for people that don't understand what ADHD is, because they think like that, we're so closed in. Because I'm here talking to you, I'm one person. If I am at the gym or any other place, I'm more like to myself, I'm not, I'm a very, like, I'm an introvert. So it's hard, but I think that the good thing about ADHD is that we can see, I feel this way, we can see things different than other people, and we grasp things more, like, easily,
Hmm.
and I'm just, I don't know what else to talk
No,
about
it's
that.
good. I think it's good. And I think, looking at things differently is also important. I think that it adds a certain perspective. And I think the more knowledge there is, what's up, Art? Um, the more knowledge there is, the better. I just feel like, as we progress as a society, like, not to sound like a college professor, but we really do learn a lot more. And there's learning
Hmm.
is a good thing. It really is. And, like, I'm glad we know what we know now, and I'm glad that we'll know more in the future. But like I said, when I was growing up, there wasn't much knowledge on this, and it was all, if they didn't understand it, then they just figured it was like the kid being unruly or the kid not concentrating or,
Yeah.
and God forbid, sometimes parents, the way they dealt with it too, like they would think that not focusing was the same as like maybe screwing around and not studying. Maybe that you get, could you imagine like being punished?
Yes.
It's like it's insane, but they didn't know, so
Yeah.
it's definitely
I had the teachers from school calling my mother all the time, I was like, oh, I think that she's not here when, in class she's thinking about something else, but that's how our mind is wired.
yeah. So I'm going to ask you now the big question for Blackstone Labs. What is your favorite Blackstone Labs product? This is going to be monumental because we want to know what Carol Turco's, and it doesn't have to be your favorite product. It could be like your top products or your very favorite product.
Glycolog.
Like a lot. Good.
No doubt, no doubt, hands down. It's a product that I never run out. I always have three extras because that's how much I love it. You can take in the, during, like, cutting, bulking, and any phase. It's just a great product, and nobody else has it.
Absolutely. No, nobody does. There's a lot of companies try to mimic it, but nothing like it. And people love it. Like you said, you can use it whether you're cutting, whether you're bulking. If you have carbs, you take Glycolog, you're good to go. And it's smart, I think, to have three of them because like they have run out before. So if you have three of them, then you
Yeah.
limit the, yeah.
That's how I
So
learned the hard way, like I tried to get it and I couldn't find online, and I said, I'm never gonna run out of glycolog
right,
again. So I always have three extras.
right. Why two get three? Yeah, exactly. So, um, but listen, I'm like super, super appreciative that you did this. And like I said, I really do want to talk to you off air about some media opportunities because I really do think that you have a lot to offer. And it's all within what's in your comfort zone too, because that's also very important. You have to like set certain lines, certain parameters, but I definitely think that you could help a lot of ladies and men too, because I don't think that it's gender specific. Um, I guess the last question would be, what are some goals? Jared always tells me to ask goals, and that is a very good question. What are some goals that you have, like let's say for the short term, but also the long term?
Um, well, I wanted to, I guess the biggest goal, it would be just to be, like, successful in what I'm doing. Be able to serve my clients better. I'm always studying, there's not like a time that I go without it, and I wanted to compete again. I'm hoping that I can go up maybe in the division, but we don't know yet. Me and my coach we're talking about it. I'm trying to put some weight, and let's see what life has to bring.
Very cool. And then the last, and thank you so much for doing this. I'd like to give you a hug, like a cyber
Oh,
hug.
thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And if you could, if possible, if you could send maybe like a little 20 or 30-second message out to everyone in Brazil and Portugal. There's a bunch of countries in the world that speak Portuguese. Just something in Portuguese, like from you to them.
Ah, eu queria dizer para todas as mulheres que estão assistindo essa live que vocês nunca se sintam constrangidas por serem quem vocês são, de como vocês usam seu corpo ou demonstram isso. E realmente não ter vergonha da forma do seu corpo, como ele é, se é magro, gordo, médio, só seja você e não deixe que ninguém domine seus pensamentos e corra atrás dos seus sonhos. Não interessa como.
That
That's it.
sounded so beautiful, and I didn't understand a single word you said. But nonetheless, though, I will listen to it like even slower because the Spanish and Portuguese are similar, but it sounded very heartfelt. So once again, I really, really want to thank you. We've got Alexis from Made to Macro in the house. Thank you for coming by. Her food is delicious, and her cookies are amazing. She makes cookies on the down low, and they're really, really good. So once again, for NPC, soon to be pro bikini competitor, coach, trainer, Blackstone Labs Legion member, Carol Turco. This is Christian Duke, StrengthAddicts.com. Thank you, Carol. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.